G'day, friends. My name's Malcolm Hill. Welcome to the Move to Costa Rica podcast. I'm going to be your host today. I am joined today by Texan Terry Carlile.
Hey, it's great to be here. Thank you, Malcolm.
Terry, thank you very much for taking the time to chat to me. It's going to be a good chat. Terry, since 2016, when my wife Anissa and I moved here, we have been big fans of your publication, or the publication you're involved with, Howler magazine. And I think there was even a monthly issue a few years ago with a photo of me surfing, which made me feel like a total rock star. So thank you very much.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I've still got the
Do, do
paper
you want
copy.
the big pull out photo of that?
When my kids are a little older and I need to like convince them their dad's an all right guy, then we're gonna get that blown up and stuck on the wall.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that'd be great.
Terry, to kick off today, could you share with me the history of Howler magazine?
Okay, sure. Howler magazine is the only real nationwide English magazine. This year marks our 25th year anniversary. And we printed the first copy in a magazine a couple of weeks ago, and it was just one little piece of paper, or not one piece, but just very basic, and it's come a long ways. The last 4 years, John Quam was the new owner and made a lot of great improvements and advancements. It's got a variety of articles, professionally laid out, beautiful photos, videos. Now the online edition, I mean, there's so much interaction with the online edition. And it not only is it reaching Costa Rica, but actually 60% of our readers are up in North America and worldwide. We average over 40,000 reads. And I think it's because there is a variety of articles. It's not just streamlined on surfing or real estate, but there's a variety of articles. That means a variety of people are reading it. They're staying engaged. When we're printing full time, we have people who have kept every issue. It's not just a magazine you throw away. So last year was a challenge, and we kept pumping the positive messages about Pura Vida, Costa Rica, and we kept being innovative. Like I told you, we ate a lot of days at lunch. We had popcorn and that because it was tough, but we did not quit because we believe we got a great message about the beautiful Costa Rica, that we just kept plugging the positive messages about the country where we live.
There's a wealth of knowledge on your website of everything relating to life in Costa Rica. Really.
Yeah, you can just search and over 20 years of articles on there. So and that type of information doesn't really get old because about wildlife or the national parks, and so it's a valuable resource for people to look if they're looking at coming to Costa Rica or just want to learn more about the culture of Costa Rica. Even Costa Ricans read it, and one guy said that I've learned more about my country from Howler than I have from any publication. That's a great way to go.
Originally, it started here in Guanacaste, Costa Rica.
Yeah, it was home base here in Tamarindo, and then it's expanded, and sometimes people still have that concept that's just Tamarindo, but we are Costa Rica wide, and our articles, it's not just Guanacaste or Tamarindo. You'll find articles all over about everything Costa Rica.
So for those listening, if this is the only thing you get out of this episode of the Move to Costa Rica podcast, go check out. It's howlermagazine.com, isn't it?
Howlermag, MAG.com.
Howlermag.com.
You'll see the this month is, of course, it's February 1st today. I don't know when this will be played and replayed, but so we got 3 great publications that launched late last night, and you'll see the articles. You can go and click on the magazine, open up full view. Make sure you open it up on a laptop. Okay, you can open it up on the little cell phone, but it loses a lot of dynamics. I mean, if you got a large, a computer screen, open that up, open up the pages, and page 2, you like Pacific Soul Selling, a beautiful photo, and the video starts to play, and not a lot of work, and just click on the link to go to the website. Beautiful, a lot of great articles. Coffee, Costa Rica coffee. Our actually our writer, our editor wrote the copy, and it's over 9 pages long, and everybody loves coffee, and it's literally A to Z about coffee in Costa Rica. That's the feature story, and a lot of those stories about local artists. Um, Manuel Antonio fishing, surfing there, and wellness, Pure Vita, travel and adventure, so much.
All the good stuff. All the good
Yeah.
stuff about life in Costa.
Yeah. If you're tired of all the negative stuff, go to howlermag.com.
You're originally from Naples, Texas, and we're going to reverse a little bit and hear a bit about your life before Costa Rica.
I got a twin brother. We were womb mates for 9 months, and I've been 8 years as a Navy journalist. So 2 years after graduating high school, I was seeing the world. It was great opportunity for 8 years. I love my country, and serving the Navy was great. And then I spent time in ministry and also working with at-risk youth workforce programs, drug intervention, and things like that. Has been mainly my forte. And my last job that I had was in Houston, Texas, being the business manager for a workforce contract. And then I had the opportunity to come here. My twin brother's here, and I had an invitation to help him at his church. And plus, my youngest daughter and 3 grandkids live here also. So it didn't take much decision, a lot of, okay, yeah, I'll go. So I've been here almost 2 years come March here in Costa Rica.
Relatively new still, Terry. 2
2 years,
years.
yeah, yeah. I think they said, people usually leave after 3, but I'm staying. I mean, I got family here, and the thing about it, and a lot, what people need to do is, I get a chance to work from home, and things like that. And but I was nurturing a relationship with John at the Howler because of my journalism background. I said, "Hey, I want to be your marketing guy one day. I want to be your marketing guy." So that was in place, and boom, of course, I got the position, so you got to be prepared and do your research before you go anywhere. I mean, you really do. Do your due diligence to do that.
When did Costa Rica come on your radar? You said your brother was here working in ministry. Did you come down and visit him for a few years before deciding,
Oh,
hey, let's do
of
that?
course, yeah. He was actually in a position to go wherever, a few years ago, and he went to 2 or 3 other countries, and he kept coming back to Costa Rica because and he loved it here. So he was here, and yeah, I came down at least once a year to visit. So to get the feel of it, and yeah, it's a great place to be. So yeah, it was. I don't know. Yeah, at least once a year, sometimes twice a year, whenever I could squeeze, the dollars out to make it happen.
In Costa Rica, there's lots of different regions. We are up in the northern part in Guanacaste, the province of Guanacaste. Could you explain for our listeners a little bit about what the area is like where you live?
I'm about 2 kilometers from the beach, and I can drive less than an hour and a half, and I could go to a volcano or the mountains. We have beautiful beaches here. We have you got a variety of towns. You have Tamarindo, which is busy and tourism, and then you have Brasilito, where Conchel, the beach Conchel beach is. More of your rural type. You got Playa Grande, even more rural. Fortunately, you don't have to go down a bumpy road to get to Playa Grande, but still remote. But also, you have everything you need if you're coming down for a holiday or vacation or a 3-day weekend or something. So it's not that remote. You got Flamingo, beautiful. You got Margaritaville Resort. You got the beautiful lines there in Flamingo, Potrero, and if you like fancy, you can go up to Las Catalinas. But I'm not that far from mountains and hour from Liberia Airport, so I just love this location. It's the best fit for me.
For many foreigners, you mentioned the airport, which is maybe 40 minutes, an hour's drive from where you are. And
Hmm.
that airport can connect you with countless cities in North
Right,
America
right.
with direct flights. And for many folks who are deciding to move to Costa Rica, that's a big deal because you can get back to see family or for business or for
Yeah,
whatever reason without too much hassle. It can be like a half day trip and you can be from Costa Rica. You can have breakfast in Costa Rica and be having dinner with family in the US without
sure.
it being, a super complicated thing.
Right. And that's why, people may not know about Liberia. I know the first time I booked a flight down here, I booked it through San Jose because I didn't know. And my brother said, no, 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 I'll fix it. I'll fix it. Because I didn't know about Liberia Airport. And it's a great road to get there. And you don't have to go into Liberia, of course, from if you're coming this way. So it's a great location. Um, um, and yeah, an hour away. You can be your toes in the sand in an hour. I always like getting off a cool airplane and then you walk out in that little walkway and then you got that Costa Rica humidity and heat and you go, yeah, I'm back.
Yeah, that's my temperature. Did you come down here with partner on your own? Like how long were you considering that decision? And was it a solo decision or a joint decision?
It was a joint decision. She's been a school teacher. My wife's been a school teacher for 19 years up in the States, and she had the opportunity to apply for a job. There just so happened to be a position open, and she got that job here at Korea in Brasilito. So it was a double good, whammy, good combination of things that had to happen, and we actually live out in homes provided to the teachers, and I'm looking out at what we'd consider a jungle. So it's a great setup. She loves her job. They're all back now in the classroom, and she's having a great time. She's loving it.
We have a few family friends who go to that school, to Korea, and it's considered, I think, in this area, one of the very best schools.
Yeah, and it's like anything else. There's different, you know, places and way teaching styles and things like that, school setups that people can choose from. And that's one thing about our area. You do have some options, but Korea, yeah, it's got a real good track record, and that's always great to have. And I know she puts. She one of her students has had or was in schools all over the world, and this guy is very talented. And the mom told her last Friday that he has not liked schools anywhere, but he likes you and Korea school. And my wife just, that's why I do it. I said, that's right, baby. That's why you do what you do, because she is making a good impact and she does care about her kids. Sometimes she comes home and tries to treat me like a third grader, so we have to have that little talk.
Of course.
No, honey, I'm your husband.
For those listening, if you're interested in hearing a student's opinion of the school career, in episode 9, I interview of this podcast, the Move to Costa Rica podcast, I interviewed Tanner Haddon, and Tanner has been attending the school for around 2 years now, and he goes in depth about the differences between his schooling experience in Austin, Texas, and at the school where your wife is working, Korea,
Oh, okay.
Brasilito. Really interesting to get a 13-year-old's opinion about that. And obviously transitioning from a school where, it was 100% English to a school where he's speaking, I think 50% Spanish, 50% English. I haven't been to the school, but I think
Yeah,
it's
it everybody at third grade they shift to English, but you do have your Spanish influences and classes and things like that.
yeah.
They want you to learn Spanish. See, I'm working on it.
When you and your wife first made that decision that you were going to leave Texas, move here to Costa Rica permanently, how long did you take to make that decision, and what things went into it?
I came here not fleeing anything or anyone. you know, they you're either wanted or not wanted, and that's why people come to Costa Rica. I think is a joke, but I was in a position in my profession that I was, I was ready for a change, and she was also ready for a change. And so we were at that point where, okay, what's next? And then this opportunity was presented to be able to be sponsored for a few months to help at Beach Community Church, and it was like, hey, I got this opportunity, and she said, okay, let's pray about it. Okay, let's go. So
And that was it.
that was it. I think Mexico is the only country she's been to outside of the U.S. But and so she was ready. She Yeah.
And did either of you have any Spanish to fall back on, or was it like, we're just going to jump in feet first, make this transition and figure it out as we go?
Well, of course, she was depending a lot on my background with Costa Rica, and my connections, and we had jobs, or the job opportunity was there when we were discussing, and uh, we jumped not blindly, but because of the research and things were available for us to have, income and things like that. So yeah, we took that step and came, and it's been great. Um, yeah,
You mentioned that your eldest daughter and three grandkids
yeah.
here in Costa Rica. Did they move at the same time as you guys, or was that prior or after?
She actually, my daughter Lynn, she came down to visit my twin brother, and she had a great job. She had worked herself through junior college and college, and got her. She was a radiology specialist, and she came down here, and my twin brother introduced her to a Colombian who was working at a local resort here, or apartment complex condos, and they kind of kept talking, and they ended up falling in love. And then they've been married 5 years. She moved down. They got married, and she's been here 5 years. So and then three grandkids later also. Um, so that was that time frame.
And the
And
three grandkids born here in
they're like
Costa
20
Rica?
minutes. Yes. Yep. And they're only 20 minutes from me. We were with them a Saturday, and there were over 20 howlers in their backyard, and the girls were singing "Monkey Monkey," jumping on the bed. One fell and bumped his head. I said, "Y'all need to be quiet," because they were like, "What's going on here?" But it's been great for them also. And they've had a chance to go to states. My other daughter, they came down at Christmas, and then they're coming in next week, or this next Sunday actually. They're coming back, and her mom's coming also. So and like I said, 3 hour flight from Houston. It's not that bad, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. Direct flight as well.
Right.
And the airport, as we mentioned before, it's it's not a stressful airport. It's very simple. The airport
Yeah.
here, it's a couple of
Until
gates.
until everybody starts hollering at you. No, 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 no. I don't need a ride. No, I don't. No, no, gracias.
After being here for 2 years with your wife, you obviously had a certain set of expectations before you arrived about what day-to-day life was going to look like. Without fail, every foreigner I've spoken to who's moved here has had things that have stuck out to them and surprised them, or challenges that they've had to overcome that were perhaps more difficult to overcome than they had expected. But what are some of those transitional things that your wife and you experienced that really stuck out or have stuck out?
Well, we recognize that we are visiting their country, and of course uh, we are adding. We want to be an asset to this country, not just with my wife teaching or my work with Howler, but also through our church. Our church is giving provide food for hundreds of families. So I'm not here to take anything out of the country. I want to be an asset for this country. And that's one thing important to remember. Number two, one of the toughest, sometimes I can be a road warrior. And so, like, when someone wants to stop in the middle of the road for no reason with no brake lights, you just have to go pure vita or something like that. Or they pull out in front of you and it takes them a while to find the gas pedal, and we came across one family, they stopped in the middle of the road and they're making a lunch out of their trunk. That's probably the toughest thing to kind of get, used to is some of the driving things. But after being in Houston with the congested of traffic there, I'll take those inconveniences. This is not America. I am not going to try to make it like America. It's not, Houston, and all those things. It is Costa Rica. So yeah, we come in with some expectations. Restaurants, you want your glass filled with water. The second it's empty, sometimes it takes a little while. Sometimes it takes holding up. Por favor, por favor. Well, yes, it kind of takes that, but it does force you to kind of prioritize some of your expectations, maybe to relax a little bit. But I think what really drives us and reminds us is that we're here on a mission, through our church and then through school and through our jobs, to be an asset to this country, and that really changes your perspective.
So well put, Terry. Everybody who moves here needs to hear that. Like, this is a place that you're coming to add value and not to find areas that aren't to your satisfaction.
Right. Well, you don't have, some people, you're not going to be, if you were not happy where you are up north, you will not be happy here, because we do a lot of times is we think a new location is going to change us. No, when we find ourselves here, we're here. So don't come down here thinking, oh, it's going magically. No, if you got stuff in here that you got to take care of, being in Pura Vida land is not going to fix it. Okay, you got to take care of yourself first, and I've done that with all my world travels and everywhere I've gone. I am going to be happy, my best wherever I'm at, whether it's a job or whatever.
The thing you mentioned before about the driving speed here, I know what you mean. But it's strange because then eventually you get used to driving really slow and driving really peacefully. And when you see someone driving quick, you're like, hey, that's not acceptable. Not where I live. You're not allowed to drive fast.
I just like gringo.
Yeah, that guy must be new. That must be a rented car. That must be someone on vacation if they're driving anywhere more, like anything more than about 40 kilometers an hour.
Yeah. The other thing is just how we have narrow roads, and then people walking and riding bikes, especially at dusk or sunset, and it's hard to see. I mean, that does make you a little more paranoid to drive at night. You just got to be so cautious of that. And then the occasional Brahma bulls that want to take the road, so it just takes getting used to. You just got to be more observant and not be texting while you're driving, because you'll find those people, and I love those people that have the little flashlights or something, and you can see them. I know a lot of people have gotten hurt and killed, motorcycles and bicycles. So you just got to be careful. It's like anywhere.
Yeah. What you're saying about there being very narrow streets, something that takes a little getting used to if you've lived in the West or up in North America, is the fact that there's not footpaths on every road.
Right.
Yet that doesn't deter people from walking on every road, because people need to get from A to B. And mobility here is not as easy as it is in other countries where cars are cheaper and roads are better. In the more or less rural areas where we live, because we live in areas that are less populated, they're not cities, people walk on the street. Just is what you have to do to get from one place to another.
Yeah, and you get used to someone going around, somebody, and you go off to the side a little bit also to give them room, So it's if you won't come here and be a bullheaded driver, you will not like it here. You really won't.
Also, if you want to come here and have your car stay in as good a condition as it would on North American roads, that's not something you should expect either. With
No,
lower
no.
quality roads and a lot more dusty roads and bumpy roads and potholes, I've noticed as a car owner in Costa Rica, the wear and tear on my car is significantly higher
Yeah,
per kilometer than it was living in Australia, where all I was doing was driving on highways most of the time.
right. And that's just one of the things you accept. You know,
Yeah.
you take your time. You know, we went to the beach yesterday for a birthday party, and you just take your time. You know, and that's the way it is. Goodness.
Yeah, that's part of the Pura Vida lifestyle, is like not
Yeah.
trying to rush anything. Terry, a few days ago, I saw a tarantula on my back porch on the deck, and it was pretty shocking. I actually kicked it like first thing in the morning and then realized what it was, and then dealt with it. Has Costa Rica thrown any surprises your way with wildlife like that?
Oh, well, outside of enjoying the howler monkeys and having the big, uh, not lizards, but the iguanas, you know, in the backyard and on the road, and the beautiful birds that sing, um, you'll, and fortunately, my wife hates snakes, and she texted me this morning. She goes, "There was a snake in my classroom this morning." And of course, I'm going, "Oh no, she is freaked out because she is turned, and it was so small that it got stuck on the duct tape." She goes, "But it doesn't matter. It's a snake." So she's been here. This is her second year to teach. That's the first snake she's seen. I've seen, you know, one, the tail end of it. You get used to, oh, there's a spider, and you sweep it. You know, oh, there's a scorpion. And, you know, I was laying on the sofa one night, and something's crawling. Boom, got, you know, hit by the scorpions. Oh, okay, you know, and I relocated it in a few pieces out the door. Um, the ants, you know, oh, there's a trail of ants. Okay, it's time to do a little spray. You just get used to stuff like that. Gosh, it's fine. You know, don't be, if you're wanting no wildlife and no insects, you might need to stay where you're at. I
Yeah,
mean,
it's not the
really,
place.
because not the place, you know. We love sitting down on our back porch and listen to the animals and watching the chameleon lizards, you know, run all over, and it's just it's one of the beautiful things about it.
It is one of the beautiful things because you feel like everything's alive. You know, when you're seeing life
Yeah,
all the time, even if it's wildlife and not other people, it still feels like everything's alive. And
right.
there's something nice about that. And every now and then my wife and I will be watching a video on YouTube, and it, you know, might be showing footage of a city and people walking through a city. And you look at a city sometimes and you think there's very limited life there other than people, other than humans. And you
In cars.
and cars. Yeah. and and you get so used to all of the different wildlife things that take place here. It's, you were talking about
Right.
ants, and I don't know if you get this where in your house, but there's a certain type of ant. It's a pretty like biggish red ant, not really big, but like
Mhm.
medium-sized red ant that are absolutely friendly. They just don't sting. They don't cause any issues. They can walk all over you. And we have them in our house. And sometimes they'll be walking on you, and you look at the type of ant it is, and you think, well, yeah, that's like one of those friendly ants. And I've never lived anywhere where ants didn't, you know.
Yeah, bite you.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah. You know, the little bitty ants, and you know they just like I said, every once in a while, well, okay, it's time, you know, spray, because they just make a trail, and every once in a while you get this ant infestation, you know, and out on your porch or something, and you kind of take care of that. But there are some bigger ants that, yeah, I noticed. I haven't gotten friendly with them. I don't name them, you know, and I haven't shaken their hand, but I have noticed that, oh, there's an ant on my foot, and he's not biting me. That's good. You know, I don't want to interrupt his world. Um, but a friendly ant. Yeah, you can read. We had ants in the Howler a couple months ago, and the plant. And we would look at the leaf eaters up at the school. There was one guy shot a video, and every day they're going with those leaves, and he shot a video of it. But that's one of those things you can read about in Howler. But it's just a part of nature, man.
Could you give our listeners a little bit of an overview of what a typical day in the life of Terry Lee Carlile looks like here in Costa
Oh,
Rica?
typical. I wake up to my morning worship music first thing, get some good thoughts going on in my head, and then of course I got my coffee, Costa Rica coffee brewing, and um, my wife goes to work, and I will after some quiet time I'll see what I need to do as far as my marketing, sales, or my church work things that I have to do, and make a priority. Open up the Sometimes I'll go out and work on the back porch, which is makes it really nice. And if it's not too windy like we've had here recently, and do my phone calls and emailing and contacts and planning, and then if I want to, after lunch maybe I'll go out to the beach, walk on the beach for a while. Like I said, just a couple kilometers away, 3 kilometers away from the beach, and um, come back and do some work, make some phone calls and send out emails, promote the magazine to worldwide. And in the evenings, I try to help my wife if she's got any schoolwork that I can help her with. I always want to be an asset to her because she could work 20 hours a day, I think, and she'd be okay with that. But I don't work her work 20 hours a week, so I'll help her do something, and then we'll. Uh, of course, have supper, or we'll go to a local soda. Even if you come here, you don't go to a soda, you're missing it. You're missing it. They can look like a shack, but you're missing some great food in those places. There's one place that has the best guacamole I ever had. They make their chips fresh. We'll go there just for supper. We were going to average once a week at that location in Brasilito, but nice meal. I think our amount of food that we eat has been reduced just because of the different lifestyle. I don't eat breakfast. I might eat a little bit of lunch, but then have a supper, and then relax in the evening with my wife and watch a movie. She beats me in Quirkle, which is she loves doing that, and I let her do that most of the time. So she goes to bed on a good note. So that it's not boring because of all the different things that we're involved in, whether it's church and doing ministry in the community, or the Howler work, or doing something with the school. So it's never a boring moment, or if it's just checking out and relaxing. I mean, really, we love sitting on the back porch and just listening to the birds and looking at the beauty.
I'll tell the listeners. So
I'm telling off on you.
Terry and I were going to chat last week. We were going to do this interview, and I messaged him the morning of because I couldn't get the Wi-Fi working at home, and I was quite frustrated, and I didn't have anywhere else quiet to go and do this interview that had Wi-Fi. So this went on for 2-3 days. I finally got onto the technicians from the internet company and explained to them, and I was asking them for, maybe they need to offer us a discount because the internet's been out for a few days. And the technician came over to the house, and he went into the laundry where the internet box is connected to the wall. And he'd noticed that I'd just put away one of my surfboards in the laundry and knocked out the cable. And all he had to do was plug the cable back in. And for the previous 3-4 days, I'd rescheduled meetings like I did with you, Terry, and I had been frustrated and annoyed at the poor service that this internet company was providing me. And in the end, it was totally my fault. So that's just the type of stuff that happens. I think that could happen anywhere. However,
Sure.
it's just Just part of life,
I
right?
hate to tell them off on you, but you can, and things are different here. Okay, you're not in the States. Okay, and it's not Burger King. Okay, you can't have it your way and on everything. So just expect that. And if you're an angry type person, goodness, you're going to miss out on the pure Vita.
Yeah.
And having a live perspective adjustment, I think everybody could use, with all the hate and anger that's going on today. And goodness, just why don't you think about things that are good and honest and true, and uh, give give a smile to somebody today, man, because there's enough bitter folks going around, man. Goodness.
And Costa Ricans will smile back at you. Definitely.
The what?
They will smile back at you.
Oh, they will.
You
Yeah,
give people a smile here, they'll give you their time, and they'll give you their love and affection and everything in between.
oh, we'll drive through Brasilito. We play back before COVID. We used to play softball with the kids once a week, and we'd have a big crowd, and so I know a lot of the kids. So in Brasilito, I'm rolling down the window, and they go, I say, "Hey, amigo," and they'll say, "Perry." I said, "No, Terry," because that's my twin brother, And but it's like, a lot of people, and of course a lot of people think they know me because my twin brother, he's the good looking one. And um so that's kind of neat. Just always get to know people, and get to know the locals, and that's what's so great. I go to the Spanish service at our church, and I help them with their Facebook, and get to know those people. That work has increased tremendously. Um, People getting rescued from their alcoholism, years of alcoholism, and walking the straight and narrow with the Lord. It's been exciting to see, but getting to know people, the locals, is exciting.
Do you have any plans to leave Costa Rica someday?
No,
No.
no, I ser- serious. I think my wife has to go back in order and teach some, another year or two in Texas to get her retirement, and that'd be our next bridge to cross. um, but no, no. My family's here. I got a great job. I got a great church. Um, no.
Terry, we're going to wrap up, and in just a second, uh, two more questions for you. Now, the first one, where can people find you online if they want to get in touch with you?
Well, if it's Howler, it's howlermag.com. I'm on Facebook and LinkedIn, Terry Carlile. They can find me. Yeah, pretty easy. You, I, with my travels and everything I've been involved in, you Google me, you'll see a lot of Terry Carlile. I try to get rid of some stuff. No, I'm kidding. But I used to do corporate training and speaking events. I was in Nigeria 9 years ago doing a special week long thing, but you can, yeah, just Google me. I'll send you my email address, but I'm easy to find, or
Epic, mate.
or you'll find my twin brother.
Any last words for those considering moving to Costa Rica?
If you're not happy where you're at, check and see why. Costa Rica has a lot to offer, but it's not the cure. Um, it's a different lifestyle here, and don't come down here expecting a paradise. I hear that word a lot. You can make paradise wherever you're at, with who you're with, and but this is a great place to do it at, to create your own paradise.
It absolutely is. I have to agree. Well, we're going to sign off. I'm going to
All
say
right,
pura vida, Terry.
Pura Vida. Thank you,
and
sir.
and yeah, this episode's going to come out on YouTube and the audio form. You'll be able to listen to it in many different places. And if you're confused, just head to our website, www.movetocostaricapodcast.com.